Good morning, another day to get after it. I just want to say it's been good to see so many of your faces from a distance over the last few weeks, and I'm looking forward to us being able to get back together and doing that, of course, a little more often. The psalmist says, "This is the day the Lord hath made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it." That's today. That's every day. We often just kind of get caught up in the monotony of the day, being strung together with other days and just kind of taking these moments, these days for granted. Well, what the Bible clearly says is that God named today. It's a special day every day. That's one of His mercies. And I just want us to try to remember that a little more often than the frequency with which we often forget that. I will pay attention to the way of integrity. I will live with a heart of integrity in my house. That's Psalms 101:2, and that's kind of where I want us just to think about today as we spend time just looking at His Word and how very quick parts of our day we can just give to Him. I've been encouraged listening and talking to several of you over the last few weeks. Several of you have begun just to work on very small and subtle disciplines within your own daily lives. Others of you have been more intentional with your friendships, just reaching out. Some of you have sent letters, more phone calls, just taking care of one another. And others, you've really intentionally worked on some of those very subtle, very small, non-big, time-consuming, faith-led Christian disciplines in your life. At times you feel like, man, I'm not even doing a whole lot. It's like 10, 15, 20 minutes. But I just want to encourage you, truly, these little, small movements are the beginning stages of transformation in your life. I want to read to you real quick just some words from an author. Everyone wants a revolution. No one wants to do the dishes. We all want that big aha moment in our Christian life where our faith in God maybe becomes more three-dimensional. We don't want to do the dishes in our lives. I was and remain a Christian who longs for a revolution, for things to be made new and whole and beautiful in big ways. But what I am slowly seeing is that you can't get to the revolution without learning to do the dishes. The kind of spiritual life and disciplines needed to sustain the Christian life are quiet, repetitive, and ordinary. I often want to skip the boring daily stuff to get to the thrill of an edgy faith. But it's in the dailiness of Christian faith, the making of the bed, literally and metaphorically, the doing of the dishes, the praying for our enemies, the person that maybe you're jealous of, the person that's hurt you, the reading of the Bible, the quiet, the small, that God's transformation takes root and grows. Thank you, Tish Warren, for putting those words together, again, just to kind of show us the importance of these small moments in our lives that are just slowly stacking, slowly transforming us. I want to talk about one subject real quick, and it's just prayer, but actually specifically just praying before meals. Like, why do we do that? Why is it so important? Why does it matter? I'm not even around people right now. Well, here's why. What you're doing is you're creating a habit, a discipline in your heart and in your life so that when you are out in the world, that will be a way that others see God and you kind of bring glory and attention to Him. If we don't just get caught up in the fact that we're not asking God to send down some invisible lightning bolt of nourishment into the nachos or pizza we're about to eat. That's not what it's about. It's in the middle of your daily life. It's in the middle of your struggle. It's in the middle of no matter what that we get to stop and remember, like, that meal is grace. That meal is a gift. And it's often those meals that we just, of course, take for granted. But it's something that's a way for us to begin to incorporate that into just our daily time, our daily life, so that when we're out in the world, people will just see that, like, there's something unique and different about them just in those quick 10, 15 seconds before a meal. Talking about meals, there are very few meals in the course of my life that I remember. Maybe certain holidays, but just overall, I don't remember many. Even bad meals, ones that were just terrible. Again, very few of those do I ever really remember. We have consumed thousands of meals over the course of our life, and yet we don't think about them a lot. They're very thought worthy over the course of our life. I couldn't even remember what I ate last Thursday, but here's the fact. I need them. Nourishment is so important to us. Daily bread, which is what those meals are something that we can't live without. They're so vital to us surviving and moving through our life, and yet so inconsequential to our memories. That's a way for us, again, just to kind of think about our daily bread. Going to God just very quickly. Sometimes it just feels like it's not very memorable, but what, again, it's doing is it's slowly stacking. It's slowly kind of allowing us to have a growth in our relationship with God. In the same way, like even with our friendships, people that you spend time with, everyone in general, it's a give and a take. It's a they say, then I say. You respond, then they respond. And that to me is just certain friendships begin to gravitate, get closer, the times that your communication just get better and better. Well, specifically in Christian friendships, those give and takes are still a huge part of it. But the uniqueness to that is that as we are doing life together, as we are going on car rides, having these conversations, as we are road tripping, taking friends' meals when a family member is sick, whether we're praying together in private, praying on the phone, or in a driveway, those are all times that we, in one sense, are being the good news to each other. But also in those moments, we are becoming the good news to the world, to everyone else out there. So it's just another way for us to take these small little moments, take some of these subtle times in our lives and realize like they're huge, they're monumental in our faith, both acknowledging who God is, but also how the world is beginning to see us. Over the course of your life, you've been peppered with and encouraged to try to follow after the heart of Christ. Try to know the ways, the pathway of Jesus. And we will continue to be peppered with that all of our days. It's important for us to continue to reflect on those truths that we find in the Word, but it's also important just even during this time, I want to remind you, just in certain ways, to be careful. I want you to guard your eyes with every click, with every swipe, everything that you are bringing into your life. You can never undo that. With your mind, I want you just to be careful again about what all you're watching and absorbing, and the people whose opinions you're letting govern your ways. Those are all things that really, again, kind of come into our heart. And our heart is just this giant cauldron where everything is being stirred together, the good, the inbound, the outbound. All of those things are being meshed together, and that is who you are becoming. I will pay attention to the way of integrity. I will have a heart of integrity in my house. Psalm 101:2. That is your house. That is within your home. That is within your room. That is who you are in your friendships. That is just who you are when you're by yourself. That is your home. I want to encourage you with the things that we've talked about today. I want to be reminded of the ways that I see all of you growing. I hear the stories of, hey, I'm getting better at this. I've been able to do this over a longer period of time, more than I ever have before. Keep going. And let those conversations between your friends also be pointed back to Christ. Of course, through the realities that you're in, of course, through the frustrations, of course, through the excitement of school wrapping up, but let it, again, still be peppered with the truths of God, lifting each other up, taking time to pray with another. So again, that the world around you can see God's glory in those moments. Can't wait to see you soon. It's going to look different. Yes, we know that, but I do believe we'll be able to begin to see each other here in the coming weeks. Still thankful for this time, despite part of its uniqueness, of course, but can't wait to gather together and worship our Father together.